Okay, let's get one thing straight. I haven't actually spent the last 1,000 hours demoing people in Rocket League. Well, not exactly anyways. While this video is partly a play on Thanavic's 100 hours of training videos, truthfully I have played a demo-heavy playstyle my whole Rocket League career. And over these thousands of hours I've developed, tested, and even taught specific strategies that allow players to add physical play to their skill set without sacrificing rotation or becoming that stereotypical demo chaser. My first scripted videos on this channel were a 3-part demolition tutorial, a topic that really hasn't been covered in as much detail anywhere else, until now. I'm treating this as a replacement for my now dated tutorials, as I have come a long way in both Rocket League and content creation. In this video, I will cover some of the major things I've learned about demolitions and playing a physical style that I think you should know no matter what your rank. And if you find these tips useful and want more information, at the end of the video I will show you what more you can learn from my complete physical play handbook. Yes, over the last 3 months I've applied my 8 years of college teaching experience to the development of an in-depth Rocket League strategic demolition training course. But I know most of you are here for just the tips in this video, so let's get started. Alright, so this first thing wasn't really hard for me to learn. Using car-on-car contact to my advantage just made sense right from the first time I played in 2015. But I know not all people feel the same. I first want to help you to have the right attitude and outlook of bumps and demos in Rocket League. Now this section is probably more directed at newer players or people that are skeptical or even tilted by the mechanic, so if that's not you, you could use the timestamps below to skip ahead. Now demolitions have been in Rocket League since the beginning. They were programmed and intended by the developers. After 5 years, it's very unlikely they are ever going away. We are playing with battle cars after all. One way to rationalize and accept bumps and demolitions in Rocket League might be to compare them to items in Mario Kart. Now stay with me here. The main goal of Mario Kart is to win the race. Items can be used to achieve that goal. Using an item doesn't mean you aren't skilled. In fact, the expert use of a right item at the right time could be the identifying factor of a complete Mario Kart player. When an item gets used on you, well, of course it's never going to feel good, but it's part of the game. And it's not a surefire win. Items used at the wrong time can actually cost you the race. Anyone here ever shot themselves with a green shell? Kinda sucks. Of course, you could make a rule for yourself and never pick up or use items in Mario Kart, but expecting others to follow those same rules would be ridiculous. Now I know this isn't a perfect analogy, but recognizing car contact as a part of the game can both help you mentally deal with its effects, as well as encourage you to open your mind to the opportunities that this side of the game can provide. It's truly a high risk, high reward mechanic, but with my help, you can manage that risk and reap those rewards. I've had a few people say to me, why do I need an instructional course for demos? Just hit someone while supersonic, it's easy. While this is completely ignoring the decision-making side of an effective demo play, it also isn't even an accurate description of how the mechanic works. Being supersonic is not the only requirement for a demolition. Over the last couple years, exactly how demos work had become kind of a mystery. We knew the mechanic had gotten easier because sideswiping demos showed that the old angle restrictions no longer seemed to apply. And eventually I decided it was time to try and figure out exactly what was going on. In a video I titled The Truth About Demolitions, I used a bot testing program to go through all the impact angles and found the results to be repeatable but not in line with the old rules. Psionics themselves responded to my video and revealed that the rules were intentionally changed to a center of mass comparison. In this diagram, you can see how the mechanic currently works. Picture a line running between the two car centers. If the line falls within the pink 45-degree cone, you get a demo. If it's in the darker cone that extends from 45 to 70, it's a bump, and if it's outside of all of these, you will scrape past the car with no effect. This means there are still situations you'll be supersonic and not get a demo, but it's not broken. Unfortunately, this mechanic continues to be misunderstood, sometimes all the way up to the pro level. Complaints and clips of demo fails get thousands of views before someone comes along to point out why the demo didn't happen. And this creates an echo chamber of people thinking the mechanic doesn't work properly. I'll admit, demolitions are not very intuitive to the user, and I think Psionics agrees. Since my video, I actually got the chance to test some new demolition patches with Psionics, but as of right now, the diagrammed rules I showed here continue to be in effect. If demolitions do change sometime in the future, I will update the pinned comment in this video. It's true the amount of demos that people get has increased over the seasons, partly because the mechanic got easier, and partly because more players started to embrace this side of the game a little more. But the idea that they are rampant or even the major meta is not really backed up by numbers. According to ballchasing.com, the average Diamond 3v3 match will have 3 demolitions. 3. That's it. Now because of this, most players in Rocket League don't really know how to handle demo attacks, especially by players employing the strategies that I teach. And it comes down to lack of awareness. If you start employing some of my demolition tactics, you should find yourself quickly picking off those unaware players. And if you don't want to be one of those easy targets, well, my training course has a whole section dedicated to avoidance tactics to make those demo chasers look like fools. Also, you could check out my recent avoidance tutorial that I've linked in the right-hand corner of the screen. You're welcome. Chasing players to try and demo them is the most obvious and boost-wasting method you can use. Instead, I like to recommend target leading. Now, players in Rocket League often follow straight and predictable paths. You can exploit that. Instead of going to where they are, drive toward where they're going to be. For the opponent, it's actually hard for them to know they're being tracked. And for you, it makes for consistent and efficient player removals. Unlike the stereotypical demo chaser, a strategic physical player uses the ball to plan their demo plays. And that's because ball cam blinds. Players at almost all levels can easily become too ball focused and lose track of their teammates, and more importantly to you, their opponent's positioning. This knowledge can be applied in different ways. For example, quickly transitioning from playing the ball to going for the demo is often too much information for a player to react to in time. Or attacking from a direction that's outside the field of view of a player that's looking at the ball means that they will never see you coming. And finally, if you know you are coming at them from the same direction as the ball, you can expect your target to see you, which allows you to easily predict their jump. Even though the act of getting a demo is considered a mechanic, strategic demolitions are probably better described as being 20% mechanical and 80% game sense, risk management, and decision making. Playing a physical style while still covering for your teammates and playing the ball is the mark of a complete player. Over the years, I've identified and perfected how demolitions can be best employed within your normal gameplay. While my Gamers Ready course does cover in detail how demo plays fit into each position of your rotation, for this video, I'll be focusing on my top offensive and defensive demolition tip that you can start applying to your game right now. Now, almost everyone knows the classic corner pass into goalie removal. You roll the ball through the corner, rotate through the net, taking advantage of your opponent's ball focus, and get the relatively easy demo. But as you move up through the ranks, these types of passes and plays become less viable, and that's because of something called backboard defense. Defenders will go to the wall to block and clear passing plays before they get to the front of the net, but we can adapt. A defender on the wall is actually in a pretty awkward position, especially if they're trying to track the ball. Now the idea is simple. Instead of a goalie, we're going to take out the backboard defender, but the execution isn't that simple. After hitting the ball, you're going to switch into car cam. Your goal is to get ahead of your pass and try to take out the defender before they can touch the ball. Now, tracking a player while sideways on the wall is not going to be easy, and trying to stay out of the way of the ball is another issue altogether. But if you can start employing these types of demos and bumps, you will actually create more scoring opportunities, as suddenly that simple corner pass will become useful again. The typical defensive rotation can be simplified to be playing the ball and rotating to back post. So that's a free tip if you're not already doing it. Now, in between playing the ball and the back post, players will often drive by easy demo opportunities. Attacking players will end up sitting at mid, waiting for passes. You can take those players out. It's an easy demo. It's not out of your way, and it's very useful for shutting down an attack on your end. Now, I know sometimes that will spawn the player back on their side to stop your counterattack, but that shouldn't be your focus. If you're currently defending your net, the potential of a missed scoring opportunity later should not be a concern at the moment. Eliminate the threat now. Now, threes is going to give you the most opportunities to employ this. You don't need all three people back in net at the same time. If you're the last person coming back into the zone, take the opportunity to disrupt any opponent you can as you make your way to the back post. There isn't a simpler or more risk-free demo play than this. Use it. The physical side of Rocket League is a tough subject to teach. There's no training pack. Your targets are unpredictable humans. Missed or bad demos are easily punished. And in general, it's a mechanic that's more based on the mental side of the game. But I do believe my Gamers Ready training program is the best way to fully embrace this playstyle. Now, you're probably wondering why you can't just watch some tutorials. And that's true, you totally can. There's not many of them, but my old tutorials will remain available as links in the description of this video. And the content is still relevant, while the presentation is definitely lacking. Don't say I didn't warn you. So if you want to learn more, use the link in the description to head over to the Gamers Ready landing page. If you like what you see, you can use code SLEDGE for 20% off. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to drop by my stream and ask. As always, guys, I appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button and check out my other content. My name is Rocket Sledge. Thanks for watching.